my friends, to the Coliseum. GrizzlyMantes here. Hope everybody had a fabulous weekend, but we are back in the Coliseum with a saucy little contender, a saucy little Simic contender, I might say. Vivien on the Hunt, 6-mana planeswalker, debuted in Streets of New Capenna. Hasn't seen too much play. Let's see how she does. So for +2, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, search your library for a creature card and burn mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrificed creature's mana value, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. So the +2 is a birthing pod. Not the worst. Not the worst at all. +1, mill 5 cards, then put any number of creature cards and mill this way into your hand. -1, create a 4/4 green rhino creature token. Not bad little value for 6 mana on a planeswalker. No ultimate, but not everything has to be flashy and crazy and awesome. So how will Miss Vivien do? Well, let's look at the rest of the deck here. Obviously, we're going to be building, if we're building around Vivien, we're building within aggro, utility, pod-like consistency in the rest of the cards. So let's start with our 2-drops. Prosperous Innkeeper. Auto-include, accelerates, and is a creature to sack, and gains life, goes without saying. Shigeki Jukai Visionary. A 1/3 for 2 mana. You can return to his hand, reveal the top 4 cards of your library, put a land card onto the battlefield tap, the rest in the graveyard, and then channel green XX, return X target non-legendary cards from your graveyard to your hand. Pretty fun little guy. Accelerates mana, gets plus to turn into a 3-drop, or is a super turbo regrowth later on in the game for a lot of things. Not everything, but a lot of things here, because we do have some legendary stuff floating around, so it seemed like an easy include. You know, I originally had some early game stuff like Syncopates, and I turned them into Jawari Disruption because it just seemed like the mana was going to be tied up in that early game every turn. I didn't want to leave mana open for counter spells. Jawari Disruption's an easy one because worst case scenario, you plop it down as a land. Best case scenario, they see 1 and they don't know how many you have the rest of the game, so it's always something to keep in mind. But that being said, I decided to keep it all within the aggro realm for maximizing the ability on Vivien later on. Moving to the 3-drops, we have Jewel Thief, a 3/3 for 3 with Vigilance and Trample. Enters the battlefield, create a treasure token, more beautiful mana acceleration, and a nice little body. A pretty efficient trained Armadon at common. Power scaling, man, it never ends. Cemetery Prowler, as you guys know, is a personal favorite of mine. I figure with there being a Resurgence and Reanimator, I mean, in and of itself, that being aside, it's a fabulous little card. 3/4 for 3 with Vigilance. Enters the battlefield or attacks exile card in your graveyard. Spells you cast cause 1 less. So, again, spells you cast cause 1 less for each card type they share with cards exiled with Cemetery Prowler. So, again, we're looking at a situation where, like so much else, our early game is all about acceleration. And I love the fact that Cemetery Prowler has a big butt, has 3 power, and can stand up to almost anything that, well, any non-Brutal Cathar, non-Valorous stance removal that Boros Blitz has to offer. Because when I'm designing decks now, I'm thinking, can I survive to even make it to 6 mana? On this deck, I'm trying my hardest to put as many butts and things in the way of Boros Blitz as possible. Moving on to 4-drops, keeping with the acceleration theme, we have Quandrix Cultivator, 4 mana for a 3/4, enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic forest or island, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. We got 3 islands and 4 forests because, of course, I was having fun with my with my lands, which we'll get to. I may need to up that, but 7 seems like a good number for Cultivator to be able to always find something. I've got a couple of little saucy ones here. Undercover Operative, 4 mana clone effect, enters the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except if it's one of your creatures, it enters with a shield counter. Again, these are here as pod options alongside Glasspool Mimic, who I moved over here, but is also a 3-drop that facilitates the same function of being a land drop or a clone effect for purposes of Vivien, or just for purposes of surviving the early game. I mean, Cemetery Prowler into clone Cemetery Prowler won't be terrible, same with Quandrix Cultivator. Then we have Mirrorhall Mimic. Exact same thing. It is a 4 mana clone effect, copy of any creature on the battlefield. This one, though, again, how necessary this will be, we'll see. But for 5 mana, you can basically turn it into a, I can't remember the card. Let's just read it. So, for 5 mana, you can disturb it, which returns it to battlefield as an aura. At the beginning of your upkeep, it's an enchant creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted creature, except it's a spirit in addition to its other types. So, again, it's a clone with a perk. I couldn't make up my mind, so we just went with 1 of each. It might be a little silly, but you know what? That's half the fun. Now, hopping into our 5-drops, The MVP is definitely Mind Flayer. This is what we want. Vivien turning our 4-drops into 90% of the time, then we can start cloning it. Because, of course, if our opponent has better creatures than us, what can we do? So, what can we do? We can steal them, we can sack them to Vivien, yada, yada, yada. Mind Flayer is where we're hoping to end up and what we're hoping to clone the crap out of. And then Iymrith, Desert Doom, 5 mana, 5/5 dragon with ward 4 as long as it's untapped. Deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. If you have fewer than 3 cards, draw cards equal to the difference. Just a fabulous late game card. The ward is a huge deterrent to 90% of the removal in the format, since sweepers are far apart and few between. I had 4 and 1. I decided to go 3 and 2 just because of how good this card is, especially with something like, you know, a Jewel Thief into an Iymrith, or any of our accelerants into an Iymrith, or Mind Flayers just could be key. Now, as far as our 6-drops go, or I guess I should say our end game drops, because we have 6 and 7 clubbed together. We got 2 Kairi, the Swirling Sky. I really liked this guy when I played him in the Rihanna Shredder list last week, so I'm giving him another shot. Ward 3 is just huge. Not to mention, if he does die, bounces their board. I mean, we're not going to be milling ourselves and trying to get instants and sorceries too often, unless there's just something in there that we want, because there's just not many instants and sorceries in our deck. We have a couple, but not many. So really, this is about a 6/6 flying with Ward 3 that when he dies can basically reset the opponent's board. That's what we're hoping for anyways. However, Brutal Cathar, those kinds of things, we don't get that ability because it's only when he dies. So something to keep in mind. I do have a Tovolar's Huntmaster as a 1-of, just as a 6-drop to pod into. If we can turn our Mind Flayer, or ideally one of their things, into it, it's just fabulous. I mean, it's a lot of power. It's essentially a Titan, you know, a wolf Titan, if you will, enters the battlefield, creates 2 green wolf creature tokens, and then, of course, if he transforms, it gets nutty, but we'll worry about the, you know, Magical Christmas Land when we get there. Titan of Industry goes without saying. Card's amazing. I should play more, but you know what? I'm only playing 1 because for some reason I like the idea of podding into Coma. I'm just like sitting here thinking, if I ever going to pod, you know what? I think I'm just going to cut Coma. I do love it, and it does serve purposes, but maybe Titan's just better. No, I did this for a reason. Titan's awesome. I'm just going to put that out there right now. It's a 7/7 Trampler, but the versatility of getting the 4/4, gaining life, destroying things, shield tokens, all these things are just fabulous. It's probably just better than Coma in this metagame. Oh, yes, fine. Fine. There, are you happy, self? Are you happy? No, not really. Oh, whatever. Then over here in the lands, we've got Jwari Disruption, of course. Balagad Recovery, I put it as a 1-of. It just, whenever I have a Shigeki, I always like having at least 1 Balagad Recovery, because then, of course, the loop begins. It's nice to have that kind of late game inevitability if it actually goes that far. And then Turntimber Symbiosis is here because look at all these creatures we got. We hit 7 mana. It's another wild thing. Now, if you're wondering where Storm the Festival is, talking about hitting big mana, honestly, I had it in here earlier, but it can't hit Vivien, and since that's the theme of it, then we're leaving it on the sidelines for now. If this looks fun enough, then yes, I will certainly be doing a Simic Storm the Festival list, cutting out some of the big stuff and just loading up on some of the smaller stuff and seeing how well it does. But for now, let's see how Vivien does. So that is the deck. Now, that being said, if you like what I do, feel free to click like and subscribe. We're putting videos out all the time. We're having a good time. So come join us in the Coliseum. Our numbers grow every day, and as do our contenders. Also, if you are a fan of Untapped.gg statistics, we'll be going over those at the end of the video. So that being said, well, that's enough babbling for now. For better or worse, well, let's get to the games. Ew. Yeah. Got the double Mind Flayer. We got the Prowler, but it's really dependent on this Shigeki. If we die quickly, we die quickly. If we hit second green, I'll feel better about it. Oh boy. They ain't giving us much time, are they? Ooh, boy, this could be over before it begins. Yep. Oh, lovely. Let's see if we survive long enough to get to the Mind Flayer. Shigeki! Wow. Drawing all of our expensive stuff is definitely going to doom us here. Now, should we have mulliganed? Perhaps. We'll see what happens. Alright, Hopeful Initiate's nice. Looks like we're taking 6. No blocks here. Ow, ow. Beautiful. Let's go haul the Storm Giants, and we're going to pass. We're really banking on the Shigeki hitting something so that we can Mind Flayer something. Sunrise Cavalier, sure. Yep. Okay, let's get a land. Let's see if this Mind Flayer can do it. Let's take the layer. Ow. Alright, so what are the odds this Mind Flayer survives? Not the best, so it might just be better to double spell here to go Jewel Thief into Cemetery Prowler, or to go Cemetery Prowler into Jewel Thief. That won't work, so we'll go Jewel Thief into Cemetery Prowler. Wait, do I have? Don't have. I've got Planeswalkers, and that's it. Let's do it. I think I'm dead no matter what. Oh wait, I am, yeah. Never mind. Yeah, I just, the math. Do the math. Math is for blockers. Okay, this looks a little better. We'll keep. I have to wait and see if I want to play this Glasspool Mimic at turn 2 or something else. I'm going to try to hold this Turntimber Symbiosis for as long as possible. I'm on the draw again, which is just fabulous. Vivien. Okay. Illuminated Virtuoso. Let's go Innkeeper. Can we survive long enough for this Vivien to get out? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. So what we do next turn? We can Boseiju. Well, it depends on what the opponent does. This could be bad for us. Cemetery Prowler. Man, Vivien costs so much mana. Well, we're mathing. Okay. I won't chump block. That's a creature. Creature for... Got me. Cemetery Prowler to gobble up. Spectral Adversary. Interesting. Okay, well, let's see here. Let's go Cemetery Prowler, gobble up the creature, and then Shigeki. Shigeki back some of his life. Alternatively, we could just wait and hold out mana for Vivien. What is going on? Anywho. Is that a better plan here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Next turn, 5. We should go with Shigeki. Shigeki! Life. Get in. We got 3 mana to avail. Go to another Cemetery Prowler. We're not gonna be in a Planeswalker anytime soon. Slip out the back. Sure. Just trying to make it as big as possible. The Cemetery Prowler is probably not long for this world. Yep. Glasspool Mimic on Prosperous Innkeeper. Blitz, Turntimber Symbiosis tapped. perhaps. Don't want to take 8 here, so we'll just block. Interesting. I'm just sitting here thinking if I want to, if this is Shigeki, if I want it to happen or not. I want to pay 3 life for it to happen. Probably not a terrible idea. And we'll pass. See if we can get this Vivien on the battlefield. Before our opponent finds something that makes it unblockable, gives it protection from green, or... Ooh. Now we in trouble. 3-drop, we can go find a 4-drop, but that's not going to help us here. Nope. Nope, we gotta get to 5 drops. Oh boy. Well then, I guess I'm taking 10, eh? Yep. Yep. Oh, I guess I'm taking more than 10, of course, because math is tough. Yep. Not feeling good for the home team here. Do I want to go with the Shigeki, or do I want to wait and see if I can find a something or other? Oh, hit a land. Otherwise, we're just dead, right? Even if we don't hit a land, are we still just dead? I think we're still just dead. Let's see what we draw. Okay, we do a draw disruption. And there she goes. That's the way it goes. Alright, since we seem to be getting absolutely clobbered by aggro, I went ahead and cut out a couple of big things for some fading hopes. Finally hit the cultivator. Is this just on the draw day? Apparently it is. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll keep 6. Go Vivien to the bottom, and let's see if we can not get clobbered before we get to 3 mana. Oh boy. Yep. This is the problem with getting to Diamond. You get to Diamond, and everybody's playing the most aggressive thing possible to try to get to, you know, get through Diamond. Maybe that's what I should do. Get to Diamond, and just dirtily through it. Yep. Let's go Cascade the Jewel Thief, and just see how far we can get. Like, no, get through, sorry. Platinum is fun because, you know, everybody's still kind of playing experimental stuff and yada, yada, yada. Mythic is actually pretty fun because, again, people go back to just dirtily and like, oh boy. Oh, beautiful. Down to 8. Interesting. See, green, green, double green, blue, blue, or double blue. Let's go get ourselves an island here. Boop. Let's pass. Finally got our Vivien. Sure. Let's Mind Flayer this adversary, but then I think we're just dead, aren't we? Not yet. Almost so.
I like it. Well, it's a dog-eat-dog.
We did it! We did the thing! Yep. Yep, he's got the removal spell too. Or the shock, I should say. Oh yeah, I guess if he has it, we're just dead. Well, at least we got to do something that game. I guess that's a plus. Jeez. What? I'm on the play and I can do stuff? Yay! Let's do stuff on the play! We might have to just no. Because if I start talking about playing other cards and doing other things, then it's a different deck. This is a little aggravating. We'll see what happens though. Oh, that's a good draw. Green, 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 blue, 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 green, 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 blue, blue, blue. Thanks, Jund, for at least just giving me a moment to breathe. I appreciate you. Get him! He did. Opponent knows what we're up to. He knows. Is that worth stealing? I'm thinking, yeah. It's like, what card does something here? Got him! Let's go. Shigeki! Life. Play the Mimic. Pass the turn. Almost a Titan, man. Which could take 4 here. No reason to care. Not yet, anyways. Not a 19. Then end of turn, we can just bounce the tracker and scry into hopefully a 3rd green source, but we'll see. Oh, never mind. Let's bounce that. Harvester, sure. Cultivator. Sure. We can go get a green source and then have Shigeki up and Cultivator. Seems reasonable. Came back to life. Go get a forest. A chill level. And we got block, bounce, power available. Chill level. Yeah, right. Boop. The bounce. Because otherwise it destroys it. Got him. Because of course he's an enchantment creature, so the excess damage would do its thing here. Ow, ow. Whammies. Let's make it, let's destroy and make a 4/4. Get that kiki jiki stuff out of here. Bing bong. That's all for me. No attack, sir. Got me. Tracker. Got him. Good game, my man. Good game. Who knew? We live long enough to play lands and big stuff. We do all right. What? Okay. Seems reasonable. Not like him being on the draw, but yeah. Oh, sweet. Never mind. Well, it's all right. Take our 2 and then bounce whatever at the end of turn. Try to scry into either a 2-drop or whatever. Unless he's got like a You know, if he wants to use a Snakeskin Veil here, no, don't need the Mimic. Need like an Accelerant here would be fabulous, or an Ottawa. That's what I meant, an Ottawa. Yep. Jewel Thief, Prosperous Innkeeper, any of these would be fabulous. But let's go with the Prowler. Only got the Fading Hope to exile, so we'll exile that. Now my instants are cheaper. Oh lord, if only I could kill a Planeswalker someday, but we'll go from there. Ooh, Azika's Chariot. Sure. Yeah, nah, don't do that. Prosperous Innkeeper, you say? Lurly. Going for the second Prowler? I don't believe so. I think I'm just gonna hold up for the Mind Flayer. Hold up the treasure, that is, for the Mind Flayer next turn. If he attacks with the Chariot, am I just gonna double block it? Probably. Let's see what happens. Go for the Fading Hope, see if it works. It worked. Okay, so I'm convinced he doesn't have a Snakeskin Veil, because that would have been a perfect opportunity to use it. Right? Yeah, you would think so. Maybe he does have it. But why wouldn't he have... Okay. Alright, so Vivien can turn Mind Flayer into something spicy, like a Kairi or something along those lines. Otherwise, we can turn the Ascendant Pathway around the Cemetery Prowler. Hey, look who's back. Let's see if we can do anything here. Boop. Yep. Fading Hope's doing some work. Another Mind Flayer. That is tempting. We know he's probably got another Blizzard Brawl. Probably gonna play this other Cemetery Prowler. Yeah, let's do it. Hit this Ascendant Pack Leader so we can finally make her something decent cost less. Alright, here we go. This Vivien's just like, I want to be played. Oh my glory, it's Invoke the Ancients. Interesting. Block double Prowler here. Yep. Oh, cool. He didn't kill the one with the creature under it. That's a relief. Alright, so this guy's got Vigilance. This guy's got nothing. Let's keep the Mind Flayer game up. No attacks. Actually, if we get this Vivien, we'll probably just pop the Prosperous Innkeeper, go get a clone effect, clone the Mind Flayer, and keep the shenanigans going. Got him. Prosperous Innkeeper. Well, that helps for next turn, but it's not going to help for now, is it? Alright, let's wait. Let's give him one more turn. Let's see, we can pop a Prowler and go get... I don't know. Titan of Industry is where we're going to... Jeez. Bring it. Actually, I'll go get Kairi. Kairi will bounce this entire board. Go get Kairi and then go get Titan to wrap it all up here. Let's do it. We'll ring it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, I guess that saves me a step, eh? So that means next turn we pop Kairi, we go get Titan. And theoretically, we bounce, let's see, so any number of target non-land permanents, total mana value 6 or less to their owner's hand. Yes, we have a plan, people. We have a plan. Old Growth Troll, you got it. Despair Sentinel, you got him. Yeah, we're just gonna try to bounce his entire board here. Go get Titan of Industry, destroy the Azika's Chariot, and just start beating some face. Yep, no attacks to be had here. Cool. Yes. Vivien on the hunt. Don't attack first, he's just got blocked the Despair Sentinel.
Go ahead and run. I can keep up. Begets life.
Okay, return any number of non-land permanents. That one, 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 that one. Let's go. Destroy target object, create a... Boop. How's that for a turn? Bye, board. You can make that a 1-1. Sounds good to me. That's why Kairi's there, baby. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. You love to see it, but oh, it's and we are actually going to wrap it up after that one, if only because, unfortunately, we're in a situation in the metagame. Well, no, I'm in a... Okay, let me put it this way. We're in a situation in the metagame where things are going pretty crazy. Boros is everywhere. Boros Blitz, an amazing deck. I am so happy Sunrise Cavalier's finally getting her time to shine. But anywho, we're in a position where the metagame seems to be split right down the middle between blazingly aggressively fast, trying to get to Mythica or whatever as quick as possible, just trying to burn through the ranks, and more fair traditional standard decks that are overall, I do believe, better, but they're more suited for a longer game. Now, we get suited for a longer game like you saw in the last one, we do fabulous. However, when things slow down, or excuse me, when things get too fast and we're not allowed to slow down and go at our pace, we just get flattened. So I'm actually going to halt it right there, if only because I do think there's a good idea here, but unfortunately it might have to wait until things, as Teferi would say, slow down just a pinch. I would recommend this in a better game, or in a possibly best of 3 metagame, but in a best of 1 against a sea of Boros Blitz, we're probably just going to get clobbered. I thought I'd put enough in the early game to kind of slow that down, but I did not. So what I ended up cutting for the 3 Fading Hopes, I cut 1 Titan of Industry, 1 Kairi, and I believe the 4th Cemetery Prowler for 3 Fading Hope. It might be worth it to cut a Mind Flayer, but I still like Mind Flayer. Might just be worth it to cut the Mind Flayer for the 4th Fading Hope, and then it may actually just be better to like cut some of the cutesy things like the clones and just load up on all this early stuff to try to survive long enough to get to our end game. Because as you can see, we get to our end game and we're in pretty good shape. Vivien's not terrible if she gets going. I have a feeling she'll be a much better role player once things slow down just a pinch. Or if we were to actually dabble in best of 3, which ain't nobody got time for that. Overall, this was fun. We didn't get to have as much fun as I would have liked, but that's standard right now. You do what you gotta do. Well, anywho, if you like what I do, feel free to click like and subscribe. We ended up going, we ended up only playing 5 games, and it ended up being, oh, we went, what, 2 and 3, so we were under the 50% threshold for win rate, so I would not recommend this deck right now, if only because of the sheer amount of Boros. Or if you are going to play it, it might just be best to keep the Vivien, take Vivien down to a 2 of, and keep the toolbox a late game perk, and then just focus all of your efforts into surviving the early game. If you can survive the early game against the 1, 2, 3, 4 curve that Boros has, you'll probably be alright. As you saw, that mono green list, that was peak perfection for this list. We gotta make that into a short. So that is all for me. I will see everybody later.